What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel where you subscribe to get daily updates every day on Bitcoin. Today is the monthly close. I do think there's going to be some good trade opportunity. Definitely stick around for the whole video. We're going to start with the macro, move on to the micro. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. Don't forget there's a free Discord group in the description below the video. Definitely check it out, guys. It's a great community, awesome group of people in there. Let's get into it. All right, guys, as always, this is not financial advice, trading advice, or investment advice. We are going to take a look at the news to get a feel for the sentiment. First, I want to remind you we're doing a free Kobo Vault Generation 2 hard wallet giveaway. All you have to do to enter to win is make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Smash that like button. Let's see how many likes we can get on this video. Take a second out. Hit the like button. Even if you have never hit it before, just do it. It will help the channel out tremendously. I appreciate that when you guys do that. And then by leaving a comment, that will get you entered to win. I'll pick a random comment from a random video throughout the week on Sunday that will be the winner of the hard wallet. Let's get into the news headlines. A radical new crypto just blew past Bitcoin price all-time high, which is obviously the YFI. Be careful with that, guys. There's only 30,000 of them. Of course, the price is going to get high. It doesn't mean that it's the market cap is not worth more than Bitcoin. So just pay attention if you're messing with that. There are a few wallets that hold the majority of them also, which is scary. Could be that the YAM money went into this. That's just my theory. But anyways. Someone just lost 16 million in Bitcoin by using a malicious install of Electrum wallet. That's another reason, guys. Get yourself a hard wallet. I'm not a big fan of just the wallet apps with no hard wallet involved. I do have links to the ones I prefer down below in my affiliate links. Check them out. Bitcoin and Ethereum weekly technical analysis. Bitcoin to 500,000 plus. Fidelity files for new Bitcoin fund. All this super bullish high numbers reminds me of 2017, right before it crashed. Remember, guys, people wanted institutional investors. We have them. Most of them, no matter what the news says, they're not as interested in Bitcoin as it may sound. They are interested in making money. Keep that in mind. Let's see, DeFi token, that's the other one. That pretty much, obviously, it's very bullish news. Let's look at the crypto fear and greed index. We're at 75, same as yesterday, still in the greed zone. Let's take a look at the macro, the monthly we've been talking about. Still lower highs in the big picture. We do have this trend line right here off of these wicks, and the monthly support right now is around 11,200. I closed below that. If we do get a big dump today, it's going to be extremely bearish. Next stop is the 8 EMA at 96.75 area, which would close the gap around the 9,700. Keep that in mind. We still have higher highs in the in the price action, lower highs in the RSI. It's bearish divergence in the monthly. And moving on to the weekly. The only thing that suggests to me that there could still be a possible push up is right here. It does look like on the weekly we could come up and retest this top trend line before coming down to test the bottom. That's the only thing. So let's look at the bullish case. The bullish case measured move off of the thick white trend lines. Look at that as a triangle. Gets us up to about the 27,000. And if we go off of the falling broadening wedge right here in yellow, that gets us up to about the 16,000. That's the bullish case. As you guys know, in the mid-term, I am still bearish. I still believe we're going to come down to these lower targets. We're going to take a look at them right now. So starting off with where we're at right now, let's look at this as a possible rising broadening wedge. And the measured move of the breakdown from that, we would have to break down. The first area of support would be 10,900. That would get us down. The measured move down to 38.48. There is a CME futures gap down there. It does not mean it has to fill, but I'm definitely keeping this stuff on my radar. Yesterday's video, I went over the gap, so if you want to check that out, I'll try to Trying to keep this a little bit shorter. But the first stop after that, according to trends here, we would come down to that 96.87. Like I said, that is the gap that I do believe we will fill. If this area breaks, around 7,900 to 8,000 would be the next trendline support. But let's take a look at the daily RSI. And we talked about this yesterday. We do seem to be in a rising wedge. We broke down out of it. And yesterday we did come up, test the old support for new resistance, and got rejected. That keeps me bearish here. All right, let's look at another view of the daily. We've talked about many times with the rising broadening wedge here in pink. Broke down last March. If we did come back all the way up test top, it could be as high as around the 13.3. But any break above this and getting support, that turns me long-term bullish 100%. But if we look at the dotted trend lines here, or the dashed trend lines, we do look like we are in a rising broadening wedge. And look at that. If we were to come down and test this bottom, would be around the $9,600 range. And a measured move of the break of this from there would get us down to about that 6,500 range. And that's looking at this as a rising broadening wedge. We have the Fibonacci retracements from the swing low to the swing high. First area of support on the Fibonacci is the 0.236 fib, which lines up pretty good with the neckline right here from our breakout of what people are considering an inverse head and shoulders. Oh yeah, if you guys are interested in trading, I'm gonna leave a Prime XBT tutorial up top. By far the best crypto exchange in my opinion. You can trade crypto, forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow, all that with just using your Bitcoin as collateral. By far the fairest exchange. They don't trade against you. Check it out if you haven't already. Savy code. I do have a link below also to check it out. Savy 50 will get you 50% on top of whatever you deposit up to 1 Bitcoin as a bonus to use towards your margin. Savy 25 will get you 25% off of your fees. But yeah. All right, let's look at that. The 0.236 is around 10,400. 0.382 is around 91.86. 0.5 is around 81.53, and each one of these I would expect at least a bounce, and if they do not hold, then they would go down to the next one. And then we have the golden pocket zone between 68.50 and 71.20 area. If that breaks that 6,500 target from up here, that wasn't able to hold. 0.786 is 56.81, and then of course our CME gap all the way down into the abyss. Another way to help support the channel, my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. Check it out. A lot of cool crypto stuff. You can put anything you want on any of this, not just what you see. Hit her up in the contact if you have any questions. Thank you very much for all of you that have been supporting the channel. All right, 4 hour. Looking at the 4 hours. So before I get into the RSI, we're going to look at this real quick. I had this target up here, and that was looking at this bottom trend line, looking at this as a rising broadening wedge, where we went off of this touch here, got rejected here, and yesterday I had it at 11,737, and if you look close, what we were doing is just going by the trend line here. Well, we got stopped at it again up here today around 1773. Let's also take a look, and we'll zoom into the 1 hour and it'll show it a lot more clearly, but where we're at now, we did get a fake out above this trend line here and got rejected at our rising wedge here. The EMAs do look kind of bullish, but I do believe they're most likely going to be turning over if we can't get support above the 11,700 area here. I have this target up here. We'll take a look at that in a second also. I'm going to get that off of the 4 hour. But let's take a look at our measured moves here, guys. What we could be looking at. If we took, we're going to look at this as a rising broadening wedge here, guys. Or I'm sorry, a rising wedge. With a measured move, and we would get that by measuring the widest point of the wedge over here. And depending on where and if we break down here, if we do break this bottom trend line, and then of course we break our 10,400, 10,500 area, that gets us down to, depending on when it happens, around the $5,800 range, which also would line up with that 0.786 retracement fib. Again, not saying it has to go there. I'm giving you guys the possibilities. I am more towards the bearish side, as most of you know if you watch my channel. And if that aggravates you, you are definitely going on emotion and just hoping things rise out of nowhere. So, and I'm not saying they're not gonna, but you need to learn to handle your emotions, especially if you're going to be trading this. Just because I'm bearish here doesn't mean in the smaller moves I don't trade both directions. You know, people don't seem to understand that. And when people are really bullish and just hoping that their money grows out of nowhere, that's usually what gets people screwed. So be careful. Yeah. And like I said, there's nothing to say that it isn't bullish here. We do have bullish targets that I'm watching, but it's looking more bearish to me. Let's go into the 1 hour real quick, and I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So if we look at this as a rising wedge in the 1 hour that we did break down from, the measured move of that is around 99.50. And if we look at it as a rising channel, if we were to break down, we would be looking around that 96.50 to 9700 range. Let me put this up a little bit. Right in that range would be our target. But let's take a look at the trend lines. That'll help us out a little. Wait, I'm sorry. Forgot to show you the RSI on the 4 hour. If we look at this, and I'm going to zoom it all in so you can see it, we have hidden bearish divergence, which is higher highs in the RSI, lower highs in the price action here, guys. All right, back over to here. So let's take a look at what's going on. We also talked about this being a possible falling broadening wedge here. And if that was the case, we have broken out here, and that would give us a measured move of up to about the $12,700 range to $1,200 or $12,800, which would retest this top resistance line, which, looking at this as a dotted line, could make this a rising channel still, and you know, we would break out way over here possibly, still getting us down to around that gap close area. Now let's zoom in, get a closer look at what's going on here. And as you can see, as of right now, we have this trend line. Let me move this down a little bit and try to get it a little more accurate. We have popped up out of it and getting support as of right now around 11,690. A breakback below that will most likely make this resistance, and we continue down to these lower levels. Now I'm going to move this trend line target over more, depending if we were to go down today. Around the 11,250 range is possible. If we break down below this, guys, then our next stop is at 10.4, which would be retesting this bottom trend line down here. I'm more apt to say we go down here unless we can break. Let me move this out of our way. Unless we can break this 11,800 zone and get support there, then I would be looking for at least this 12.7 up top. But as of right now, like I said, we are getting rejected on this line pretty good. We break back below the top of this broadening wedge here, guys, and I'm looking for the $11,200 range. And after that, you know, this could end up being a huge fall. That could make this monthly candle a doji and get very ugly very quickly. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at, guys. I'm still more towards these targets down here. Like I said, I know everybody's super bullish. Just be careful out there. If you are trading, don't use money you can't afford to lose. Don't over leverage your trades. Make sure you use stops. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the CryptoSavy logo above my head. Smash that like button. Leave your comments down below. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'm out.